why did you start your business? Talk to us a little bit about the whys of that.
Yeah, so I think within the industry, there's a lot of interesting power dynamics that take place, right? And trucking companies specifically really didn't have an opportunity to own their own narrative, share their own story, and you know, we really thought that reviews were an excellent way for them to do that, right? Anybody can tell you how great your own business is. We could tell you how great Carrier Source is. But if your customers are writing reviews and publicly giving testimonials about your service that you provide and how great it is, that's a much more powerful story. And so, you know, our goal was really to allow trucking companies to do that. And so with that, yeah, we created a profile for every carrier out there. We collect reviews from brokers and shippers, and it's a great way for those trucking companies to build a reputation, get recognition for the hard work that they do every day.
And I just ask this because I just want to know, if you pay more, do you get better reviews?
No.
Or there's always tipping, has always been involved in my deal, but I just wanted to make sure. No, it sounds like, and we talked about this before, the Yelp of trucking, right? You're going out there, you get a taste of it, you find out, and if you like it, you let them know, and if you don't, you also let them know, right?
Yep.
How did the first carrier start to react to that kind of information? I'm just curious, what was the first feedback stuff that started coming in?
Well, I think it was, people were excited, right? Because there are reviews that exist out there that are only negative, right? There's things like watchdog reports, watchdog reports and freight guards, right? Which you cannot receive positive reviews in that aspect. So they were excited just to have the opportunity to gain a positive review, right? And I think brokers and shippers often use some other pieces of information as proxies for how good a carrier is, right? Inspections, some safety data that exists out there, but that only tells a fraction of the story, right? So I think early on, carriers were excited about the ability to get recognized for that, you know, the great service that they provide to their customers.
Hey, Clara, but what happens when that customer, that carrier, gets that bad report? Because you know what? We don't do much wrong. I was going to tell you. So when we see that, we want to be able to explain that story. Is there a way to do that?
Absolutely, and that's another thing that I think Carrier Source offers is you can respond to your reviews. It's not just, you know, get them and let them lie. It's come in, respond, tell your story, share your experience. And I think something that we tout a lot is the power of negative reviews, and how a negative review is, we have to look at it as a gift, because it's giving you that feedback that you might not know otherwise. You might not have realized that terrible experience was happening. You can make it better, you can make it different, and fix that.
Yeah, you know, I'll say that to us in the office all the time. There's nothing wrong with sucking as long as you know where you suck, because then you can fix it. It's when you don't know where your fails are, where you're not very good at. But you know, and you've got to be, as a trucking company, you've got to also be able to take that as critical review, and it is what it is. You've got to address it. But when you see something out there you don't agree with, maybe, I mean, to not answer. Talk to me about that. Just to let it sit out there and not reply to a negative post. Is there something to be said about that as well?
I always encourage people to at least reply, even if you don't agree with it. You can still reply and say, you know, thank you for this feedback. We apologize you had this experience. We hope you come try us again. You know, like, you don't need to defend it if it's unreasonable, and if it's like, which people are unreasonable. We know that.
Johnny, we know this is you.
Yeah.
You know?
Get off our review page, man. But I think there is something in, like, taking the higher ground. And I, as a consumer, I, as someone looking for my next carrier, might see, like, okay, they're listening, they're hearing. They'd probably be a good person for me to work with.
So we use information now like we've never used it before. Everything's out there. We're going out there to find a great restaurant. We're going out there to find a great hotel. We're going out there to find, and here it is, trucking companies. We're going out to find trucking companies. When is the script going to be flipped and we find out about shippers? When are we going to find out who's the bad shipper, who's the good shipper? When are we going to find out who's the bad broker or the good broker, right? Who do I go to? If I really need help here, who do I go to? When is that going to jump around and spin around and go the other way too?
Yeah, so it's been on our roadmap for some time here, and we do intend to stand up broker profiles as well, because I mentioned those power dynamics, right? It's only fair if brokers and shippers can review a carrier, that carriers can then go back and review those brokers. and shippers as well. And we think even opportunities for facilities, receivers, right? Like you want to know who are the good shippers and who are the bad, who takes too long to pay you, who's got efficiency, who's easy to work with, who's friendly, right? Like
I think it's important, right?
It's very important.
And if you tell one side of the story, I feel like you should also be able to tell the other, right? And does that even go as far as y'all think down the road and go and look and further down, are we thinking about the best truck stops, right? The best places for drivers to go and the best places, I mean, how far can this really go?
I think information is super powerful, like you said. If we can open up all that information, then we've been successful in this, right? And so I think facilities, I think truck stops, I think that there's reviews can really change an industry. And so I'm hopeful that we only can continue to gather that information through reviews.
Hey, so when you're bringing on a carrier, onboarding a carrier, I mean, what are some of the points that you want to make sure you get across? If I'm a carrier, I wanted to join your network, to subscribe to this right here. Are you going to talk to me and tell me about how it works, about how to react maybe to some of these bad reviews? Because we're going to get them, right? And again, I mean, do I just sign up and that's it, or is there more to it from y'all that you provide to the carriers out there?
Well, it is free to sign up, so every carrier can come in and claim their profile. They have that listing, and we do help them. Part of what they get if they become a premium is we help them gather reviews.
Gotcha.
So with a free profile, you can gather reviews on your own, and if you reach out to us, we'll of course help you. But with a premium profile, we'll help you gather reviews. We'll throw in an incentive maybe for your customers to leave that review, stuff like that. And we will be your partner, and we will help you.
Well, we definitely want the premium side right here. We're not about free.
I told you. I knew
you gotta
there
pay
was
money if you really want to get better at something. You gotta find the value.
I called it at the first of the show. So look, I'm going to be honest. Here it is. Here's an opportunity. We're talking about going out and get the information. It's really starting to turn, and I'll tell you, I'm an old guy, jacked with a flip phone, not doing that. But really, the next gen who's coming into the industry, and these women in here that network well and doing this kind of stuff, these are the people that are going to benefit the most from this type of information, right?
Yeah, I do think so. I think younger generations are more accustomed to using reviews, really. I mean, all technology, right? And technology ultimately makes your job easier. This information can make your job easier. And from a carrier perspective too, the ability to put forward-facing online, a description of your business, testimonials from your customers that you've worked with, advertising, marketing yourself, can only help down the road, right? So we're really hopeful in that.
And I talk about that and I laugh about it, but my daughter and we'll go to dinner and she'll be like, well, Dad, they have a horrible review. I said, well, I've been going there 20 years. I don't know. And they're like, yeah, but they got a 2.5 star. And y'all are on like a star rating, right? Y'all do the same type of deal, and you kind of, that's how you rate it, and to understand it, kind of that kind of methodology about how you go about it, right?
Yeah, we have a few different inputs that go through our algorithm. So we do collect information on like timeliness of the load, quality of equipment, communication, general satisfaction, some other things there that influence that star rating. Yeah. So it's not just like a quick click.
How about safety? Is that in there too?
So we don't do, we display safety information from the FMCSA. We don't really view ourselves as kind of a compliance tool or a safety tool, right? There's other tools out there that may take all that safety data, spit out an algorithm, and kind of give a score in that sense. We're really more so of satisfaction information when working with that carrier.
So a word we've heard it today during the conference already a couple of times is that word collaboration. What are you doing to collaborate with other technology companies, trucking companies, peers of yours, to make our industry a little safer, a little better, a little bit more success, to bring more drivers into it? Do you find yourself collaborating with other industries as well today?
Yeah, definitely. I think reviews can really help know who's a legitimate carrier, right? Who provides a good service, and we're starting to talk with other partners as well, some transactional platforms, load boards, digital freight brokerages, right, to kind of pump our satisfaction information into those systems too, to expand the reach and to help brokers and shippers know about carriers at the point of transaction.
Yeah, because
right?
I'll tell you, when you're looking for, as a broker side, when you're looking for a carrier, you have them on DAT or Truck Stop, Get Loaded, whatever you're using. Well, it'd be nice to go ahead and see your rating right there so I don't have to go anywhere else. What are some advice, though, for a brand new trucking company coming into this industry? Seriously, Clara, how important is this information for a brand new carrier into this market?
I think it's critical, especially with all the double brokering that's happening right now. Like, if you have 8 reviews from verified brokers, like, you're real. You know, like, even if they're bad reviews, even if they're positive, like, you must be a real company. And that's what we've heard from some feedback from brokers is, like, even just like seeing that like people have worked with this company and people have any opinion about them, like that gives you a whole layer of validity that you wouldn't otherwise have.
Right, I got you.
That's a great point on that. And so I'm just going to follow up with this question here. How do you verify, and I'm just curious how do you verify that comments are good, false, or not? It's not just Drive Safe Dave Trucking Company. Boy, this is the best ever.
Yeah.
And it's him, type from the same IP. I've never seen anybody better. The smile on his face, never been late.
100 trucks showed up. Yeah.
Well, we know it was probably
Exactly.
at that point.
Yeah, they'd be bright.
Is there any way that you have today to catch those kinds of things?
We do come from an industry, we come from a review industry and a review background. Both of us built our career at a company that was all about reviews, and we both spent countless hours verifying reviews and moderating reviews. And you do that by, you look at the person, you make sure the person is real, and we have various ways of doing that. Then you read the content. Is it reasonable? Do the comments that they say make sense with the flags they put in, etc.? And then on top of that, we will ask for a redacted rate con or some kind of picture that you worked with the actual carrier that you're reviewing.
Yeah, I think we've all gotten a little bit more fearful of that with Twitter, right? All the bots and all of these fake people that are doing that. Good stuff, man. Love what y'all are doing for the industry because it is important for those carriers to be rated. It's important also for trucking company, if you subscribe to this, to look at your data and fix it. Don't bow up, like, oh, I've never done that. You know what? Sometimes when you hear something, it is the truth, and there's nothing wrong with it, right? I mean, we just have to learn to put our guard down, to open up a little bit, face the facts that, Dave, we're not perfect.
No, and I get that, but I'll tell you what's really nice about this is here's an opportunity. You've worked with somebody for a while. It's time you sit down and you said thank you by writing a good review.
Yeah.
It's time that you said, hey, I appreciate the job you're doing for me.
Point.
I want to make sure other people also realize you're not a secret, right? We all in this industry want to keep everybody a secret when we find some success. Yeah. But truly, if you want to reward the people that you work with and they do a great job, let others know how good they're doing because it makes a difference, right?
It directly helps influence their ability to grow their own business, right? If you can put your best foot forward for your best carrier, that goes such a long way for them, and it just helps build a more positive industry, frankly.
I tell you, I like the idea of going out there and saying nice things and doing nice things in the industry because so many like Fleet Guard and so many of these others, all it is a negative platform. It's a platform that says, and I get it, there's a reason for that, right? We have jails for a reason because there's, those are the places for the bad people, but I'm just saying, at the same time, we also want to let everybody know how awesome that they're doing. How do we get involved? I just want to know how do we do that? How do we get involved?
So Carrier Source is entirely free to use. If you're a broker or shipper, you can just come onto Carrier Source and prospect through our site. We have a full database of all the active federally registered freight carriers out there. You can come in, you can look up reviews on carriers, you can leave reviews of carriers, totally free to do all that. And if you're a carrier as well, as Clara mentioned earlier, it's free to come in and claim your profile page. You can write a description of your business. If you've got a logo or an image that you want to put in there as well, you can do that. It's free to send your favorite brokers and shippers to your page and ask them to write reviews for you. Like totally free to do all that. And we encourage everybody to do it because if our pages are all public and they're all within Google, right? So if somebody's Googling your business and they find your Carrier Source profile page, you got to put your best foot forward there. It's a great opportunity to sell yourself a little bit and share with the world who you are, tell your story, and ensure that they're finding what you want them to find about you.
Yeah, all critical information. And I want to thank you all for being on the show today. Lots of fun. I'm going to tell you, when Jay started talking about jail, I was like, sometimes he can get sideways on us. And I was like, here comes a jail story. Thank you, Dave, for not bringing up the jail story. They may kick us out of here.
I have one or two.
Hey, but thank you for being on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Keep doing what you can. Listen, don't do the free. Anybody can do free. I'm going to tell you to subscribe today.
Get the good review.
Get the good stuff. Yeah, for sure. Get the paid. It's always better than free. It's free for a reason, is what I always tell everybody. Get the paid one. You'll be a lot more happier. This is BCB Live, and we're the safest station in the nation.